You know that deed to your property? Take a look. You'll see this string of numbers on it. That's its official identity. But have you ever stopped to think about this? You own the land, for sure, but who actually owns the number? The answer, it turns out, has some seriously deep legal roots. So, let's dig in.
Right. You own the bricks and mortar, you own the soil it sits on. But that official number the government uses to keep track of everything, the ownership of that, well, it's a fascinating legal puzzle. And really, the only way to solve it is to see what the courts themselves have had to say. Okay, so first things first, let's get on the same page about what this number actually is, because it's the key to how our entire property system is organized. It's called the Assessor's Parcel Number, or APN for short. And honestly, the easiest way to think about it is like a social security number, but for a piece of land. The government creates it, they assign it, and they use it for literally everything, from your tax bills to property sales. And just like your SSN, you can't just change it, you can't sell it, you can't make one up. It's an official identifier that only the government controls. All right, to get to the bottom of this, we've got to put on our detective hats and dig into some legal history. And we're not looking for opinions here. We're hunting for hard evidence from court cases that have already laid down the law on what the government can and can't own. So our first piece of the puzzle comes from a Supreme Court case back in 1977. It really lays the groundwork by defining the government's role when it creates things for public use. The key word here is proprietor, which, is just a fancy legal way of saying an owner. The court is basically saying that when the government creates something for the public, it gets to hold and manage that thing just like a private owner would. So here's the connection. The APN is a tool, a system, that the government created specifically for the public purpose of managing land and taxes. And based on this ruling, that places the entire APN system squarely in the category of government-owned property. Now this next piece of evidence, it's even more direct. And it comes from a place you'd probably never expect. A legal showdown between Monsanto and the EPA. And it gets right to the heart of who owns information itself. In this case, the court ruled that when Monsanto handed over its product data to the EPA, that data literally became government property. Just think about that for a second. Monsanto created it, but the second they submitted it for a public regulatory purpose, the ownership transferred. And this sets up some really powerful logic, doesn't it? I mean, if information you give to the government can become its property, then a number that the government creates itself for its own internal system, like an APN, has an even stronger claim to being government property from the get-go. Our final clue takes us way back, over a century ago, and introduces a really important legal concept called the public trust. This is basically what prevents these kinds of systems from ever being sold off or privatized. What this ruling says is that the government doesn't just own things like parks or roads for its own benefit. It holds them in trust for all of us, for the public. It's not just an owner, it's a caretaker, a trustee. And that is a huge deal. It means the entire APN system can't just be sold off to some private company or used for private profit. The government has a duty to maintain it for its intended public purpose. So it's owned by the government, but it's held for the public. Okay, so we've gathered all our clues. Now let's put them together and build a simple 3-point test that makes it crystal clear what counts as government property. It really all boils down to 3 simple questions. Number 1, who created it? Number 2, what's its purpose? Is it for a public service? And number 3, who's in charge? Who has control? If the answer to all 3 of those is the government, well, you've got your answer. So now we have our framework. We have the test. Let's apply it directly to the assessor's parcel number and see if we can finally solve the mystery we started with. All right, so this is the big one, right? After all this legal digging, has any court ever just come right out and said, in those exact words, APNs are government property? And the answer, maybe surprisingly, is no. You won't find a court ruling with that specific sentence, but that's not the end of the story. In fact, that's why understanding these legal principles is so important. It's because they don't have to say it. The legal principles are already so clearly established that the conclusion is just unavoidable. The government creates the APN, its purpose is public, and the government is the only one that controls it. It passes every single part of the test with flying colors. And the APN isn't some weird outlier here. It fits the exact same legal pattern as a social security number or a birth certificate. They're all systems created and controlled by the government for public administration, and in the eyes of the law, that makes them all government property.
So we've pretty much solved the puzzle. The government owns the APN on your land. But why does any of this actually matter? What's the bigger picture here?
It all comes down to a really fundamental concept called sovereign control. This is the principle that the government has the ultimate, final authority over the systems it creates to actually run the country. It's the power to organize, to record, and to administer society. And let's be super clear. This isn't about the government owning a piece of your backyard. Not at all. It's about the government owning the system, the filing cabinet that organizes all the backyards. Without that central control over identifiers like the APN, things like property records, taxes, and sales would pretty much descend into chaos. And this all leaves us with a much bigger question to chew on. We've seen that the government owns the numbers, the codes, the systems that structure so much of our lives. So if it owns the organizing framework, what does that ultimately imply about our relationship to the things that framework organizes, our properties, our identities, even our benefits? Now that is a question worth thinking about.